Okay, good morning. We are going to look at the data capturing of your, so a lot of you, just about everyone's emailed me and they've received their questionnaires and you're busy starting to get them completed, right? So this is your questionnaire, and now once you receive your questionnaires back, you need to capture them, okay? But even before you capture them, you actually need to clean your questionnaires. So I just realized I need to open this. I need to open the assessment guide to show you how to clean them. I think it also mentions here before you capture them. No. So let's go, yeah. So if you go in your assessment guide under assignment 1, part 2, activity 2, so most of you have emailed me, you've got your questionnaire, you're busy gathering your data, and now you need to capture them as you go along. So let's just make this a bit larger first. Right. So you've sent me all of that. So now you need to clean your questionnaires. So the first step to clean your questionnaires is first check that they've not ticked every single Likert scale statement in the neutral column. So if you go to your questionnaire, here's your questionnaire, and you see these Likert scales, or what they call constructs, you'll see that they need to strongly disagree, disagree, neutral. Now, if someone has ticked every single statement in this neutral column, can you use that questionnaire? Do they have an opinion at all? No. Is it going to add any worth to your data? No. So you would therefore discard that questionnaire.
Okay. Just a quick question because it happened to me.
Yes.
I would like to know if someone thinks no, like for the questionnaire.
And then they still complete the whole thing?
No, they don't complete the whole
No, well then you don't even, you just give the questionnaire to someone else. We're not collecting how many said no, how many said yes. We only want people that say yes. Or if they click no and then they complete the whole questionnaire, well then clearly they should have, obviously if they can answer the questions, then it should be yes. There shouldn't be anyone ticking no, because every single person that's conducted a search on Google would have been exposed to a Google ad. So it's almost impossible that someone could say no.
There's a question, because the person told me is that there's an option given out of that option. So yes.
Yes. So if they click no, then it means they've never ever seen this, which means they're lying to you, which means they're basically saying, I do not want to complete the questionnaire. So then you say, fine, I'll get someone else. Because surely to goodness, every single person, everyone's conducted a search in Google and everyone's seen these sponsored links and probably clicked on one. Not probably, would have definitely have. So if they say no, then it means, so you say thank you and then you give it to someone else, because that means they're saying politely, I do not want to complete your questionnaire. Okay. But good question, and it's recorded so other people can see that. So that's all they're saying. But it's actually, in this day and age, impossible unless they don't have a computer and they've never searched for anything on Google. But if they say no and then they complete the whole thing, they're meant to have said yes, because you can't complete this questionnaire if you hadn't seen it. Okay. But if they now tick neutral for every single statement, you need to discard that questionnaire. Unfortunately, you can't. But even if they just for one statement tick strongly agree and everything else is neutral, can you use it? Yes, they have an opinion about something. Okay, so that's your first step once you get your questionnaires. The second step is to ensure that there's no gaps. Okay, so if, for example, they've gone through the Likert scale and they missed one, then you can just make that neutral. So you're not influencing what they're saying if they missed one. But I suppose, yeah. you can make it neutral. But I suppose if they also went down and they ticked agree for everything and they missed one, then obviously you can make it agree, if that's what all their answers were. Okay, so if they missed one or two, you see what they've done, but generally you make it neutral. Likewise, if they've, you've gone to a high school and they missed something here, they missed their age group or their grade or something like that, or you went to a school and it's a colored school and they didn't tick their population group, and there's that class you went to was all colored students or all black students or whatever, then, and they didn't fill it in, then you can complete it. Or the class you went to, okay, well, this is a high school, you went to a certain college and all the students were 18 to 22, so you check everyone was 18 to 22 and one person didn't fill it in, then you can just tick that 18 to 22. So there's certain things that you can complete yourself, and that's cleaning. But if there are too many mistakes, too many gaps, in other words, every second question's admitted and you can't fix it, you chuck the questionnaire away as well, because there must be no gaps. So if there's things you cannot correct yourself, you again discard the questionnaire. Okay, if there's too many errors. Lastly, okay, so that's what. So you firstly check that. You check each questionnaire that there's not too many gaps here. Here, this question one, tick all that apply. So, they would have ticked one or many things here. They tick, 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 and you see that they haven't ticked neutral, and you completed all the gaps. Once you've done that, if we go to this, then you can code the Likert scale statements. Okay? Now, if we go to the data capture instructions, here I say, for strongly disagree it's 1, disagree it's 2, neutral is 3, agree is 4, and strongly agree is 5. So what I suggest you do in the questionnaire, and this is just to make your data capturing faster, is in your questionnaire, you write here. So if they say disagree, 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 you're going to write 2, 2, 2, 2. And here they said neutral, 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 you're going to write 3, 3, 3, 3. And here they said strongly agree, you're going to go 5, 5, 5, 5. Are you with me? So just those Likert scales, you capture down the right-hand column, you write in the code. Because if you have to capture directly from what they've said here, it makes it hard. You do not need to code these questions. So these questions I've given you codes for, but you'll be able to see instantly. You can if you want to, you can, but here it's either 1 or a 2. So let's just go to the data capture instructions over here. So for every statement that they ticked, it's 1. If they did not tick it, it's going to be captured by a 2. Here, if they say desktop 1, 2, 3, 4, and here it's 1, 2, 3. So the codes are simple. So you don't need to code it on your questionnaire because you'll be able to see. But if you want to, you can. You can go here and say they said 3, so you write a 3 here. Here they said 3 years, so you write a 3 here. Here they said always, so you write a 4. You can code all of this if you want to, because it may speed up your capturing, but it's not necessary for this. But this, because there's so many statements, it's easy to lose your place as to where you code in. So you code your questionnaires once you've cleaned it. Then lastly, you number your questionnaires. 1, 2, 3, till however many. You keep it in that order. That's for my benefit and your benefit. So that when you give me your questionnaire and you email me your data, your capturing, then I can check that, okay, here's question 33 and I see there's a mistake on it. Then I can go to your coding on line 33 and see what you've done. So I can keep track of what you've done, and if I have some query and then I see there's something wrong in your capturing on line, questionnaire 322, then I can quickly go through and say, there's questionnaire 322, what's the error? Yes?
Can we number it according to how it is on Excel? So
Yes, it must be the same. Usually you number the questionnaires first and then you capture it. So on Excel, Oops, I did not want to click that. Close. On Excel, so here's the data code. So this must correspond. So questionnaire 1 you capture from, right, there's questionnaire 1. You see? Here's questionnaire 55, you'll capture in this line. You see, so there must be full correspondence, and questionnaire, you know, you go into 335, gets captured in this line. So that if there's a mistake, when I go through it and see there's a mistake, then I can go to your questionnaire 336 easily because you've numbered it, and then fix the error if I'm able to, or query it, you know. So you number the questionnaire. So just to recap this, oh, I decided to close that for some other reason. Just to recap, okay. So you firstly check in that they haven't ticked all the neutral columns. Then you check in the gaps, that you fix in all the gaps. Then you're coding your Likert scale questions, and then you number the questionnaires. And here, just a reminder, there should be no gaps. Oh, okay, that's at the end. So now you're ready to capture. Okay? So if we go to the data capturing codes, so for whichever ones they ticked, for the first question is a 1, and whatever ones that didn't tick is a 2. So you go in here, and this one, so they said, no, they left this blank, but for this cosmetics, they said, yes, so you give it a 1. They said nothing for sports. For flowers, they said yes. So that's a 1, and then they said no. So that's 2, and other, they said yes. You don't need to record what other is, you just tick it as a 1. So those are the 3 that they used. So in your questionnaire, I'll get to you now, the others they did not tick. Yes?
If you work in pairs and it comes to this part, the data capture and then splitting questions.
Yeah, you can split. So you can say you give them the code and you say you capture questionnaires 1 to 200, and then the other guy is say 201 to 410. Then they capture there, and then you can just merge it. But you're only going to send me one document. Yes. So that's quite simple to handle. I mean, you can each capture, you can each capture, they started 201, you started 100, and then you just cut and paste theirs into yours. And then they just start numbering their questionnaire from 201, and you number from 1 to 200. It's very simple. Yes. Oh, okay. So then you carry on. So here we've got, so now if you go to the questionnaire, and they said, okay, we use a laptop mainly, we use it for 1 year, and we rarely click in Google Ads. So that would be 1, 1, 1. So you'd see, then you'd capture it. Access 1, 1, 1. Usage hours was also 1. Gender 2, they were female. Age, they were, this generation Y, they were 18 to 22. Okay, then they said 3 and 1. So if you captured, so 3, they were Indian, 3, they had completed grade 12, and 1, they were of a black population group. And then you capture your Likert scale questions like that. So you see, you capture from, and if you have coded it down the side, you can touch type. So you can just look at your questionnaire and you just go, oh, this is, you know, you can see, oh, that's 5, that's 4, that's 2, that's 2, that's 2, that's 3. You see how quick it can be if you've done it by the side, and if you were a cashier like I was for 7.5 years, then it's very quick to capture. You don't need to look, you just go, okay? And then you're done. So it'll take you a minute or 2 minutes per questionnaire to capture maybe, and you'll get faster and faster. Okay? And so you capture questionnaire 1 from, you know, left to right, and then you go down and you capture the next questionnaire 2, left to right, and so you carry on. Okay? However, at the end, you need to check that you haven't made some errors. Okay, and it's a very easy way to do it. Now there's marks for how many errors, and you should all make 0 errors because I'm going to show you how to fix them. Okay, so here's an example of 20 questionnaires. So let's just say, for example, let's just make a, let's rather leave that, and let's just say here you type 22. Now I cut and paste this into SPSS. Is there a code for 22? No. So if you put the wrong code, it's going to give me an error message. And here, let's just say there's a few blanks, okay? And here you said, let's just see, that's, you know, things like that. People often, oh no, I didn't want that. Let's just say you hit a number, you know, and here you said 11, and here's another gap. So what you need to do once you have finished capturing all questions, obviously save it and email it to yourself. Okay? Because, and once you finish capturing, save it and call it like original or something like that. And then you need to sort each column. So before you start sorting, because people have made a mistake, before you sort, save it under one name, and then before you clean it, say maybe, so you save it and then you save it again and call it assignment 1 data capturing cleaning or sorting, a different name. There's a reason I want you to do that, just in case you make an error that I'm going to show you not to do, which one of my students did once, and she had done 500 questionnaires, and she did this, and she saved over original work, and she had to capture all 500 again. So I suggest once you've captured it, before you clean it, you email it to yourself as well. Then you know it's safe. Then you need to check for errors. So all you do to check for errors is you just go here, and you go home, and you click sort A to Z. Now what does it do? It checks all the 1s are fine, all the 2s, and you're looking at the end, is there a mistake? And then you go to the next one. Sort A to Z. And now I made some mistakes here, so let's just go sort A to Z. So if you go down this column, are there any mistakes? No. And you check that the codes are within your range, 1 to 4. What happens if you saw a code 8 there? Is there a code 8 for usage hours? So you go to the coding, and we go to how often do you use, and the maximum code is 5. The maximum code for most of them is either 4 or 5 or 2, except in this instance where there's a 6. So mostly it's 1 to 5, but there's some with 1 or 2 and there's some with 4. So if you've seen any code over 6, you know it's wrong, and the only one with the code 6 is education. So now you see, oh, there's a mistake. It's which questionnaire is it in? 10. Now you can go and look in questionnaire 10, what should it be? You see why you needed to number the questionnaires. And so then you can fix and say, oh, that should have been, you know, that's usage hour should have been a 3. Now we sort gender, and you go sort A to Z, and you go through, and then you see there's a blank and there's A2. Then you go and check in questionnaire 2 and say, oh, that should be a 2. There's a blank there. Oh, that was a male. It should be a 1. Then you go to age. You click sort A to Z. And you see, there's 2 blanks. Then you say, oh, that should be in group. So you check the age. That should be, they were 25 years old. So that is 2. That was also 25-year-old. They should be 2. Okay, and then you check in education, you check each column, sort A to Z. This doesn't take long, and you see, oh, there's a problem, that's 22, and you go and check in questionnaire 17, and you see, oh, that should have actually been a 2. And then you check in population group, sort A to Z, and you scroll down, oh, there's another 11, and that should have been 1. And you just sort each column to the end. You know, sort A to Z, you see, no problems there. Once you're done sorting and you've fixed everything, you just go back to questionnaire number and you click sort A to Z, and then it puts it in the original order, questionnaire 1 onwards. You see how simple it is? So you just go to each column and you position your cursor on it and you go sort. And then you look at the end and it will show you if there's a blank, if there's, you captured like a 2 is 22, or you captured like instead of hitting like the 4, you hit the 7. Yes. Yes, I'm recording this, yeah. So then it's clean. Then you can click it saved, sorted. The reason I want you to save it as a different name is this is what the one girl did once. She went here, she blocked the whole column, and she clicked sort, and she clicked smallest to large. Immediately it's going to say expand your selection, but she didn't do that. She said continue with current selection, and then she clicked sort. Do you see what it's done? It's just sorted the column, it hasn't kept it in sync with the questionnaire number. And then she did the next one. Sort, smallest to largest, continue, and you see, now is it in sync? Are the questionnaires in sync with the respondents? And she did it for everything, and she saved over original source, and all I got was 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. It wasn't in the order. And I said, sorry, you have to capture everything again. That's what you did. And because you saved over original file, you see, and that's why I say never do that. Once you've captured it, before you do that, save it, just in case you have some brain short out and you do that. Don't do that. So you just put the cursor there and you say sort A to Z. Then it doesn't give you any in the next one. It's very quick to do to clean it. You fix all your errors, you go back to your questionnaire number, you click sort A to Z, and it's back in the original order. And it's kept everything in sync. And that's so easy. Then you email that to me. As I say, once you've finished, you email it to cputdata@gmail.com and you CC me in. Okay, so I keep all the data in that Gmail account for the last 15 years that I've been giving students research assignments.
So what happens to like all this data from these assignments and that?
Well, this I will actually use, if it's good data, I will actually give it to my master students. How's that? And I'll do the same for you. When you, if you do a master's, and if I like your questionnaire, I'll do the exact same thing. So that's what I'll do. And so that's, you get a master's student, then I'll also give your questionnaires to my BTech. So for you, it's just a project. And you go into and it's a good project because, man, search is, as was told in the presentations, the #1 form of digital media in the world in terms of marketing communication. So it's good, and I'm taking you through the whole thesis, from A to Z with someone else's topic. But when you do your master's, then it's going to be your topic. So at least you've been through the whole process. So I will spoon feed you through this project just to go through and you're going to do the analysis and everything. So when you're done with this, if one day, even if you don't want to do a master's, it doesn't matter, because this is research report writing. You use this in industry. And I will bring you the book-bound things. You can get this little thesis book-bound and give it to people and say, here's my thesis for BTech or advanced diploma. And it'll get you jobs. So this is very, very important. And yeah, when you send it to me, please give me your full names, your surname, your student numbers, and just remind me who you surveyed, although I've got a record of that already. I keep a record. But very important, and you CC your group member in when you email it to me. Why are you doing this if you did it together? It's because then I will send back the stats to both of you, because what often happens is the group split. And then the one group's got the data and the other group member doesn't. So I want you both to have it, just in case there is a division later on. Okay, so you CC me. And so that's how you capture data. It's not very difficult. Just about everyone has emailed me now, so I'm very happy that you guys are, which means while it's quiet, you can get your data out the way, capture it, and then you email it to me, and I'll do your stats, and I'll send you your stats back, and you just keep those stats until I say you need it, because you're not going to need it until the end of the first semester. Then I'm going to show you how to write it up. Okay. So let's stop recording this, and that was good questions you asked as well.